Cool. So yeah, welcome to Pam's ebook webinar. This is very exciting. And yeah, this webinar is very much just to chat to Pam about her book and to find out more about the development of the book and the process, and yeah, the exciting journey to turn it into a real life book, and learn a little bit more about the process, but also all her kind of top tips that are included in the book and how relevant they are today, right now, but also a lot of them are very timeless as well. So yeah, we thought it'd be really nice to have like a dedicated time to talk about the book and to bring to life some of the chapters and the anecdotes and the stories. So yeah, I'm Sally Day and I'm here just to host. Me and Pam are actually a unique situation where we're both each other's clients, which is very cool. So we thought it'd be really nice to have a little chat about the book, and I'll just ask a few questions and it'll be very relaxed. Pam, maybe it'd be good if you could just do a little short introduction if anyone isn't aware of who you are, just a little summary about who you are.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Pam Phillips. I'm the managing director of Jong Phillips, which is an accountancy business which provides outsourced finance function to agency businesses. Before setting up Jong Phillips, I qualified as a chartered accountant with one of the big four, and then I moved into a career in finance in an investment bank. After doing that for about 15 years, so 15 years behind the scenes of many large successful businesses, I could see how having good financial insight and expertise can be used to transform a business, and I wanted to offer that level of support to small businesses, which is why I set up Jong Phillips.
Amazing, that's really cool. Thank you so much for that. So that's we know who each other are. That's really good. So just a little bit of admin. So just to let you know, you can put any questions into the Q&A section or just the chat function. It's just as easy. And I'll be monitoring them throughout the session. So don't feel like you have to wait until we finish, the chat. You can just do that at any point throughout the session. So first of all, this is quite a big leading question, but I think it's a really interesting one. So why did you decide to write this book now?
So I started writing this book back in March 2020, and it's taken it this long to get it out there into the world. And one of my big drivers for writing this book was because I was seeing time and time again agency owners with huge and exciting plans for the future getting stuck, but not because they didn't have talent, but because they were running their business with some fundamental flaws. My background as an accountant in big business, alongside my experience of working with agencies, means I've seen the common challenges that agency owners face. And whilst every agency owner thinks that their agency is unique, and in many ways that is true, the reality is that many of the problems that you'll see in your business, whether that's cash flow or reducing profit margin, or simply not having enough time to do everything that you want to do both inside and outside of the business, they're no different to those experienced by every business at some point, every business owner at some point. And I know that with the right systems and processes and financial support, it is possible to run and scale a profitable agency. At the start of the pandemic, when the world changed, it was clear that those agencies built with strong foundations had a better chance of coming out the other side, and perhaps even stronger than they were when they went into it. And I feel like we're still in that situation. We're still in an environment of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And I wanted to share some actually pretty simple strategies that any agency owner can bring into their business to make their agency more resilient and even grow during uncertain times.
Yes, even better. Yeah, it's good to try and think about the positive, Doesn't all have to be negative right now. That's really good. Thank you. That's a really great summary. Thank you. So in terms of, I don't know, let's talk a little bit more about the process of writing. So I think, yeah, a lot of people thought it'd be great in lockdown to write a book, what a great idea. But I'm sure it was very hard and time consuming and not as easy as perhaps you imagined. Despite all that, what did you enjoy about the process of writing? What would you say you enjoyed?
I actually really enjoyed being able to step back and think deeply about what it is that are the foundations of a strong business, and particularly from a finance point of view. The process of writing helped me organise my own thoughts around this and how the different pillars of that business needs to have to be successful, how they stack up, so how your people, your processes and your technology all fit together. to work together to build a resilient agency that can grow. And I think there's a lot of as an accountant that supports small businesses, we're involved in a lot of conversations that cover a diverse range of topics every day, and trying to pull that together into something that is cohesive was it was good to have some time just to sit and give that deep thought and pull that together.
Amazing, that's really good, thank you. Okay, this might be quite a tricky one, and feel free to have two answers, but which chapter do you believe could have the most impact? So say, I don't know, someone's very busy, or potentially just maybe don't really like reading. If they could just pick one chapter to read, like a standalone chapter, what would you say would be the best one to read?
I think I've got two different answers for this. I'm going to go.
That's fine to have two different answers.
I'll do the two. So my first one is the chapter that's about getting your numbers good, and it's right at the start of the book, and it's because everything pins on having good numbers. It's the core of being able to understand your business, and by good numbers, I mean understanding how your business is performing, what not just what your sales are, but what profits are you making on your sales, what is your overall profit, what's your cash flow looking like, what's the future looking like in terms of when you forecast forward. So really getting a good handle on your numbers is so important, and everything else pins to that. So I think the chapter that talks around how you can get to a place where you've got good numbers, and the reason I'm picking that is because we work with so many agencies that when they come to us, that is the thing they're asking for. They just want to understand, have a clear picture of how their business is performing, what are the issues that they're facing that they don't know about because they don't have a clear handle on their finances. So that is critical. And that will make a big difference, and there's plenty of support out there to help you get to a position of understanding your numbers. The second one I would say is cash flow, and I'm going to say that's going to have so there's a chapter called easy cash flow, and that's going to have an impact because there's some really simple steps that any business can put in place to improve the cash flow position of their business and to bring in more money into their business. Really simple steps that will have an immediate impact. So I think that as a standalone chapter is worth reading. There's some really basic things that you can do to just speed cash flowing in. So for example, sending reminders to customers when they don't pay. It's a really simple thing to do. With tech, it can be automated. So often when people don't pay, it's just because they've forgotten. So the reminders are really powerful, and if you can automate that speeds that up. Adding a payment tool to your invoice so that people can just pay directly from the invoice. So stuff like that speeds up cash flow. I think that's there's some simple levers that you can pull that will have an immediate impact.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I personally found the chapter on cash flow really helpful. I think, I don't know, me and my business partner find it quite hard to talk about money, and we get a bit like, we shouldn't ask for money, which is kind of ridiculous as a business owner. And I think having the automation in place just gives us like the reassurance, but also takes away that kind of like, I don't know, the headspace of worry. So I think, relying on tech to do a lot of the things that perhaps make you feel uncomfortable, I think is a really good tip. Amazing. Cool. So the next question is, so this is more of a broader question, so kind of as a bit bigger picture question away from the book. What do you think the biggest challenge is for creative agencies right now? And of course there are a lot of challenges, but maybe you can talk about a couple, because there's a lot of things going on at the moment.
I think I mean, clearly the uncertainty in the market currently is got to be one of the biggest things affecting agency owners, and we're definitely seeing that when we're talking to people that they have concerns around their clients potentially turning off services, it's put on hold, not necessarily on hold permanently, but on hold until people have a better feel for what the future is going to hold, which right now is there's a lot of things up in the air. So I think that uncertainty is one of the biggest challenges facing creative agencies at the moment. And that uncertainty also links into even like the funding market. So a minute ago we were talking about cash flow. There's going to be a lot of businesses out there and a lot of agencies that have got used to relying on funding through COVID, so they'll take advantage of bounce back loans and CBILS loans and be relying on that. those facilities don't exist anymore, and it is getting harder to borrow money. Interest rates are going up and lenders aren't so keen to lend. So there are going to be challenges. That challenge of winning new business when they feel like their clients are reining in spend because of uncertainty. So
absolutely,
I think that is going to feel like a challenge, and I think, and it is a real challenge, but also there is opportunity out there, because those businesses that power through times of uncertainty can come out stronger at the other side. The market will shake out, the uncertainty will shake out some businesses that haven't got the strong foundations, haven't got that built-in resilience to survive the peaks and troughs, because this is life. I mean, it's quite particularly uncertain times at the moment, but there will always be ups and downs. The market never is plain sailing, and those businesses that have learned lessons through COVID about how to build strong cash reserves, how to build a business that is resilient and has good solid foundations with systems and good people and good processes and good sort of strategies, they will fare this uncertainty better.
I think sometimes it's kind of accepting the uncertainty as well, isn't it? Like, you know, it isn't unfortunately a predictable time, and you know, once you kind of accept that, you know that you can, it's about being proactive and just, you know, trying your best.
And there's no certainty. There's never, you know, there's times it might be easier to win new clients than others, but there's always something around the corner. So there's always something that will destabilize the status quo. And you can prepare for that. You can prepare by simple things like going back to cash flow. You can prepare by having a good understanding of your numbers and looking forward. So if you're looking at your cash flow forecast, you can see these rocky areas ahead, and you can organise financing in place early. You can do cost reviews. You can put strategies in place to manage them. I think the businesses that are more vulnerable are the ones that haven't maybe had a good handle on their numbers. They have been running close to the wire for some time, and then when the market sort of tightens up and it's not so easy to win some business, all those weak foundations are lost. So I think that's a big challenge. Businesses can get through it, and they can build in that resilience, and that's what I would be recommending. Agencies do now is sort of strengthen their
the foundations from the outset. Definitely. It's good to kind of, I guess, be prepared for potential plan Bs or plan Cs, and kind of have those things pre-prepared rather than like having to be reactive all the time.
Absolutely. And scenario planning is definitely something that I'd recommend. So scenario planning is where you look at the potential future, you know, what do you think your future sales will look like? What do you think your future profit will look like? But what if this happens, and what if that happens? And you can think ahead what you would do in those scenarios, so that you're not having to scramble after the event and catch up. You've already got you know, like you said, a plan B in the back, ready to pull out.
Amazing. That's really helpful. Thank you. Some good advice there. So I know you're very into tech, and you obviously a big Xero fan and award-winning Xero person. So tech is very much at the heart of what you do in your company and how you work with clients. How do you think business owners in general, you know, so creative agency owners and business owners, can use tech to solve those problems, or, you know, general day-to-day problems?
Well, tech is essential now to any modern business. It kind of covers everything. I mean, there's not many businesses that work without tech, but businesses that really embrace it can benefit from efficiencies. So they can automate things that in the past maybe have been manual processes that take up time. So you can bring in automation, which saves you money, but also frees up time. And that's where the real value, I think, is, because when you're freeing up time, that time can be better spent doing things that can really add value to your business. Whether that's bringing in new customers, or building out systems and learning how to do things better, or even just having time off. So that's one of the challenges of any business owner, is that you know, often there's time as a real constraint. So tech can help efficiency. It can also help bring in insights. So the tools that you can certainly in a financial aspect, you can plug in lots of tools to get deep insights from your data, and tech can do that in a way that is much easier and faster than humans can do, and that the insights you can get from tech can then be used to form future actions. So yeah, tech can bring you efficiencies and insights, and also collaboration. So kind of linked to efficiencies, but it can tech can enable better collaborations both within your company and also with your suppliers and your clients. So that's one of the probably the biggest benefits to us from using tech in our business, is it means that we can collaborate seamlessly with our clients and with our suppliers, and not just through Zoom and using Loom to record videos, but through using Xero, which is a cloud accounting tool for keeping all your finances in one place. We can be working on those numbers and look at them and be looking at live data that our clients can also be looking at the same time. And that seems normal now, but 10 years ago that wasn't normal. Accountants couldn't be looking at the same set of numbers as their clients, so you couldn't be having one joined up conversation at any point in time about how a business is doing. But now that's enabled by Xero, having data in the cloud, so that's like an amazing tool. And then being able to plug other tools into that, it drives huge efficiencies. What we can do now is build finance functions for small businesses that could never have afforded that sort of finance function 10 years ago without technology.
Yeah, it's like a real opportunity, isn't it, for businesses to scale up in a quicker way, or in a kind of a more sophisticated way than perhaps they would have been, 5 years ago.
Yeah, actually you've hit the nail there, and it is essential for scaling. If you want to scale up, tech is a key part of that, because part of scaling up and part of being ready to scale up is having the right systems and processes in place. As you grow, you can't manage everything in the same way. You need to become more sophisticated, and tech is like key to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's, especially now we're a bit more remote and we're hybrid world, I think it's just a great way for everyone to have the bigger picture and have that kind of security to see everything in one place. So
yeah,
amazing. So yeah, another question. So yeah, well, you might have kind of covered this already, but I think it's a good question to ask. So if you could highlight one bit of advice from the book, what would it be? So I don't know, say you've like bumped into someone in a lift and they're like, oh, why would I read your book? Like what would be one bit of advice that you could pull out from the book that you think is a nice little nugget?
So I think it's more sort of standing back. Most businesses are built in survival mode. Processes and systems are built to catch up with the growth of a business, and that is normal and that is okay. But the message I would want to get out from the book is it is perfectly possible and totally normal to build the systems behind you as you grow. So don't look at the book and think there's so many things that we could be doing better. Know that that is normal. Like, pick something and build it behind you as you grow. The best time to start bolstering your systems and improving your processes is now.
Yes, amazing. That's really helpful. So we've got a few little questions that have come through. So yeah, now's time for people to share their questions, and yeah, if you want to just put them in the chat box or the Q&A section, that'd be really helpful. Either way, whatever works for you guys. So we have got one question, which is quite a personal one, but I'm sure you'll be nice and honest. So what was the hardest part about writing a book?
For me, I guess it was firstly finding the time. So once the initial excitement of thinking, I'm going to write a book and throw myself into it. So once that excitement had passed off, finding the time to keep doing it and to keep motivated through the whole process. It took me a long time. I said it started in March 2020 and it's taken till now. There's been various stages and I haven't been writing the whole time, but finding the time to keep it going has been hard. And then just practically as well, for me at least, working out how to condense everything I wanted to say into the key messages and then structuring it in a way that made sense. There was my thoughts weren't structured around this subject until I started writing, and trying to put structure around it was hard. That's probably the hardest bit, I think, actually.
So I can imagine. It must be hard when you're like really keen, you've got all these ideas and excitement. you just want to start and get down, but actually the planning process is really, really important, and kind of getting that ready, and kind of, I don't know, all your ducks in a row, as people say, is really important, so that you make sure everything's kind of coherent and clear.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think when you're writing about something that you know a lot about, and this is my life day to day, there's so much information in my head, so it's tempting just to launch straight into it, and not really think about the audience and how it's going to be received, or like an overload of information. So yeah, getting that structure at the start is, well, to be honest, I didn't get structure at the start, but getting that as I worked through the journey, the structure came together. But yeah, that was essential.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, so yeah, this is maybe a little bit similar, but I guess a big part of, you know, any author is about editing. So I imagine like the editing process is almost, you know, as time consuming. I once went on a copywriting course, and they said something like, I think it was, like writing is like 80% editing. And it kind of blew my mind, and I was like, what? Like, surely everything I write is perfect, and you try and make sure everything's really profound and amazing. But actually, a lot of writing is editing. So yeah, how did you find the process of a lot of editing? How do you find that?
Yeah, so that was well, in many ways it was positive, because it was when we got to the editing stage, that was when it felt like the book was finally starting to come together, and I could start to see the finished product. But on the other hand, and like you just said, it was a much slower part of the process than I'd expected. I had my sights set on getting the book written, and the thought of the editing process would be a really quick, simple, like spell check, or just tweaking a few bits here and there. But actually, I ended up rewriting whole sections of the book and restructuring the book at that point. And that was tricky, because the kind of adrenaline had gone. I'd written the book, and the adrenaline had gone. It's like, oh, we're still here, still got more to do. So yeah, it was a longer. Yeah, anyone going to tackle writing a book, absolutely bear that in mind, that when you sent your final draft off, that's not the end by a long shot.
No, I think you have to almost like be prepared for a long process of like editing and everything like that. So I think it is tricky, and having lots of people, I think, to support you as well. So having people to look at it in different ways, so like people outside the situation, I think is really helpful. So like people that aren't necessarily, actually, involved with the book itself. Okay, so a couple of other questions. So this is again quite a personal question, but I think quite an interesting one. How are you currently scaling your agency yourself? So of course you're not a creative agency, but you are agency of types. How are you currently scaling your agency?
So over the focus for the next 12 months, our focus is to set the business up, Jong Phillips up to go further. So we've set out some what we call rocks, which is based on Gino Wickman's method from his book Traction. So the rocks are our big targets that we want to hit in the next 90 days. So the three that we've got set for ourselves is, one is to build out our pods. And these are the teams that deliver our clients' outsourced finance function. And these pods make it easier to scale up while also staying close to our clients. So we want to build out the next pod and get that in place. We want to build out our training and development. So we've done a lot of work on training and development of our team, but we want to enhance it so that it's even more structured and easier for the team to navigate their own self-learning and development, and make it really clear what courses are available to them and at what stage of their learning journey those courses were appropriate. And then and all that's with the view to setting the business up so that there's a natural progression of people coming through the company, and also enabling me to be in a position where I can step away from more of the day-to-day work and work even more on the strategic work that we do. And then so the final rock that we're aiming for is to build out a business development strategy beyond what we do now, which is mainly social media marketing and referrals. So we're going to build out that.
Amazing, very cool. Some good tips people can steal from you. Very good. So we're coming to the end, so we've only got like a minute left now. So maybe it'll be good, a nice opportunity just to do a little kind of round up. So maybe I don't know, you can explain how people can get in touch with you and your team, And perhaps if you wanted to get further advice or discuss about you being their finance partner. So if you can just kind of round it up with how people can get in touch, that'd be great.
Yeah, so well, I guess we how we work is we are the finance function, and we deliver that for our clients, and that's the work we do is based on the principles in the book. So we act as our client's full finance function. If that's something that you're interested in finding out about, go to the contact page of our website, and our contact details are there. You can give us a call, send us an email, contact me on LinkedIn, and we can have a call to find out if we're going to be the best people to support you.
Yes. Yeah, and we people can book like a virtual chat with you, can't they? So if they're, if you're not entirely sure if this is the right move or you're just a bit intrigued, it's good to have a chat and kind of brainstorm some options or discuss what your needs are and if it's a good fit.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool. So I think we're at the end now. So thank you to everyone. And yeah, thank you so much to Pam for all your thoughts and everything you've said. It's been really, really helpful and like so engaging, and great to kind of hear about the behind the scenes side of writing a book. So yeah, thank you.
Hosting.
Great. Thank you so much. Cool. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.